Hi, welcome to another exciting episode of the Andre The Beast Crayton Show. Today is great. Let me tell you why. You're going to get your popcorn. You hear that all the time with T.O. Get your popcorn ready. We definitely got the popcorn ready, and the popcorn king himself in the house, the one, the only, Mr. Pete Lee, owner and founder of Popcorn World, located beautifully in Indianapolis, Indiana. Best place to get your popcorn. 500 flavors. What's going on, big guy?
Man, nothing much. How you doing, man? I'm glad to be here with you today.
You know, we've been talking for the last couple weeks, and I remember the first time you were sharing with me popcorn, you said, Dre, we got 500 flavors. And I got to thinking, how in the hell are you going to eat 500 flavors of popcorn? You couldn't even do that in a year. Before we even get to this journey, tell the viewers a little bit about you, where you're from, and how you grew up, and then we'll get into how this came about.
I'm from Chicago, Illinois, South Side, born and raised.
Okay.
You know, I used to love the other place a whole lot down there, and I knew what popcorn should taste like, right?
Right.
And I love movie theater. Everybody loves popcorn.
Right.
And then as time got progressed, you know, I was doing comedy shows and things like that, and I ended up wanting to open another place, but I had opportunity to open up a place called Popcorn World. My guy is actually the founder of it, the Baron Burton out of Gary. And we used to be known just for a second and like challenge each other, like, no, that place is better. I've never tasted anything better. He's like, well, come to the store and see. I said, no, I'm telling you. I ended up going to the store, and I spent about $300-something before I left there. I was blown away. I've never seen so many flavors. So,
you sat in the store and you tried 300 flavors of popcorn?
No, I spent $300 worth.
Wow.
I ain't tried but 4 or 5 different flavors. I saw what I wanted. I got big bags of it, knowing it's going to be a while before I go back to Gary, because I'd already been living in Indianapolis.
Right.
And so I had an opportunity when we talked to open a franchise one. And when I had the opportunity, you know, me being working with people, knowing what people like, knowing what I like, I said, you know, this is a great opportunity. So I stopped the comedy and went over to do this. And I franchised out here, and I'm going to do 6 more stores in the next 6 years. Next 3 to 4 years. And it's been phenomenal. Right. And so, of course, I've been helping with making other flavors as well. So now we're a little bit over 500. Right. So how do we utilize that? We use 85 of the top flavors in the store at one time now. It used to be 250 all the way around. Too overwhelming. And then when people overwhelm, they get confused. They get confused. So we decided to do 85, and so when you come in, there's always something new. Okay. And we could do new ones all the way 3 years, and it probably won't even hit 250. The fact that we have it, we're black owned, and these are our recipes. Nobody else's recipes. These are ours. They can't make it like us.
Let's go back a little bit. Let's go deeper, because I know your story. I know your story.
Yeah.
One of the best football players in high school, Golden Gloves, martial arts, bodyguard. I mean, damn, dude, who are you?
Well, you know, I was the police when I did those.
Oh, in internal affairs. What the hell am I talking about? In internal affairs. Damn. Did you dig some shit up on me is what I should be asking.
Well, I'll take one a little further. I actually work for the feds.
What was your family like? I mean, did you come from a structured family? Because to have those on your resume, how did you get this? Because you shared with me you didn't have a father, a role model.
Yeah. Something I'll never let happen to my children. I knew my father. The most he ever really did for me was teach me mixed martial arts, because that's what he did.
So your father was a martial artist?
Sensei. Yeah, he was my sensei. But I was boxing because my mom had to keep me off the streets.
Right.
So I ended up boxing at Boys Club, 63rd University. Ernie Terrell was the manager there. Dee Dee was the trainer. I mean, Mr. Woods was the trainer. Dee Dee was the fight trainer.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just put it that way. And box silver gloves and golden gloves. Alfonso Ratliff used to be there at that time. So it was putting me in a different direction than running with the gangs. Because I would have went in that direction because all my good friends and people that to this day, we all either Black Pete Stones or they were gangsters. In Chicago, you're gonna fight some way, somehow. We came up pretty rough.
How far are you guys from Cabrini Green?
Well, I had some cousins in Cabrini Green, so I would go some summers, like a week or so, weekends at my family's house there with Robert Taylor's. I played baseball at Washington Park. I don't know, God had to have a hand on me because I was in places I maybe never should have been.
Right.
And nothing happened. And people loved me because people gravitated to me because God gave me faith.
Right.
How I got to these positions, I don't know. I was always keeping myself doing something positive. Mm-hmm. I think sports played a big role in my life, but I did have a godfather who's my father, who helped raise me, and my brothers, my older brothers and my baby brothers, I helped raise them. So yes, I came from that background, but I did have family. Mm-hmm. And I had men in my life that were able to talk to me a little bit, that I respected. But my father, he probably bought me a bottle of High Karate cologne. I remember that day. My mother took that thing and threw that thing. That thing stink.
What do you think was the disconnect with your father stepping up?
So the truth is, a lot of people, fathers and mothers, us being older now, there's a lot of disconnect, right? And we can't put our finger on it because I had nothing to do with it.
Right.
I know he loved me, and I was never taught to hate him.
Right.
I knew who he was, but the thing is that some men just don't step up to the plate. Maybe I think now that I'm older, women try to take children from fathers. I'm not saying my mother did that. Yeah. The legal system is so against men,
right?
And it's set that way.
Yeah.
And me as a person who didn't have a father, my blood father like that. I had him, but wasn't there for me. I think that I would never be a coward and never go get my child.
Right.
I think men need to step up to women and say, "Hey, listen, you don't have the right. The child came from me living. You just nurtured it." Women always say, "Oh, it's my child." No, it's not your child.
Right.
We planted the seed.
Right.
We planted the seed in you.
Right.
So therefore, men need to go get that seed. That's your seed. But the disconnect, whatever happened between my mother and my father, I don't know. And then they never talked about it. I just know he was absent. And the absence really caused us to go down the bumpy path instead of a smooth path.
How much did it strengthen you, though? Because with what you've accomplished, how much of that was fuel?
Hey, let's put it this way. I had a great mother. I had a great godmother. They were both like my moms in my life, and they took care of me side by side, and my brothers. I think it strengthened me because I was so busy, I didn't have opportunity
to get angry.
To get angry and miss my father.
Yeah, I get you.
But when I hate to make decisions, I made poor decisions.
Right.
Because I didn't have that man to be rational.
What was one of the decisions that you did make that you look back and you carry into your own life? And we'll talk about that in a minute with your own children.
One of the decisions was to go to a college that was less than a good college. Put it that way, that's one. But other decision was that I ran with guys that I didn't really need to be around. And I felt the need to be a part of something, a family, right? So I always ran with guys who always easy to accept you because they're really not your friends, but they want to use you. But you couldn't see it because you're the one that's being used. So those are some of the decisions that I don't allow my son to make those decisions. He won't make those decisions. I'm the man of my house.
You mentioned college, and you was the second best running back. And you mentioned that if you had a father, a guidance, because let's get real, excuse me, women can only do so much.
Right.
And I agree with that 100% statement about women strangling holding children against their fathers. Because the bottom line of the matter is they need their father and they need their mother.
Yes.
And they don't need to be, neither one should be part of a legal system that perpetuates over and over and over and over.
Yes.
You said if your father been there, you would have made a different choice when you're with your college. Not saying that it was a bad choice, but because college is college,
That's
you got
right.
an
That's right.
education.
That's right.
But what would have made a difference, and what would you had to chose now that you look back?
Say with my son, he's got a lot of opportunities coming up, right?
He's the number one running back in
In
the
the state of
Indiana right now.
one of the top in the country.
Beach Grove.
That's right,
High
Jeremiah Lee.
school,
That's
yeah.
right. You say his name.
Yeah,
Everybody
Jeremiah Lee.
They know him. First thing is that I'm gonna make sure his education is number one. Number one, he's gonna know God.
Okay.
I didn't have a lot of fear of God when I was young, so I made a lot of bad decisions that could have cost me, but didn't, because I was lucky enough not to get caught or to get killed.
Right.
So I would have made my son. I'm teaching him to rationalize on what is the best opportunity for you. Don't jump at the first opportunity. Weigh it out. Mm-hmm. We so frantic when we don't have a father. We never had nothing. We jump at the first opportunity. The first thing is not always the greatest thing. Right. When you have time to be patient. So that I'm teaching my sons patience, confidence in who you are and what's going to happen. And it's starting to pay off because now he's seen. I didn't get over that hump. Everything is on my own decision. Emotion, that's from my mother.
Right.
Father, rational. Slow down.
Right.
That's the best thing happened. You get it. All the black others didn't get it. You got it.
Right.
That's not always true. You got to rationalize and take your time. Be patient. There's nothing that you're not going to have come to you that's not coming. But we do the first when we don't have fathers, we jump at the first thing that's happening. We argue right off beat. As soon as somebody say something wrong, I'm already mad. I'm ready to do something. Instead of thinking about it like, was it really that bad? Was it something that we can get over? Or do we just need to act on it right away?
That's called emotional intelligence.
Exactly.
You have a daughter too.
Yes, I got three lovely daughters.
They're world class.
World class.
Your pedigree is crazy, dog.
Man, listen, I'm blessed.
The universe is good, ain't it? Your pedigree is crazy.
I have a wonderful wife.
Your pedigree is crazy.
It's crazy, brother. I'm telling you, the experiences that God allowed me to go through was brought me to this point, even how I do business. I'm very patient and meticulous about what I do and how I do it, and I follow through. And I don't jump at the first offer that comes my way, as you know when we talk.
Yeah.
No, I got to weigh it out and see what's the benefit, the greater benefit.
Right.
Everything will benefit, but how much?
How long did it take you to develop patience? That's something that we men have a hard time doing. We hate to admit it, but I don't know if it's a race situation that we gravitate for things real quick because we never had it.
Yeah.
We was afraid they would be taken away at the drop of a hat from slave masters.
Yeah.
And so forth. Maybe it's deeply embedded in our brain, and it's hard for us to sit back and just kind of wait. How long did it take you to develop that patience?
So, again, it goes back to the mother and the absent father. Young kids with fathers develop patience early. Young men without fathers develop patience late. And that's not it's an exception to the rule, right? But majority are not taught to think about your situation. And I'm not saying things bad about women, because that's not what I'm here for, but they don't always think about what they're jumping into. They just go right at it because they're nurturing. So if you're sick, they're automatically going to try to get you healed right away. If you're sick, and the dad's going to think about what is causing the sickness.
Right.
And how we're going to cure it. And
they both want the same thing, but different ways of going about it.
So if we are going to act more like our mothers, we're more emotional at this point. That's why all these kids are going into each other, because they're emotional. They're not rational in their lives in anything. Everybody fights on a heartbeat, and they're not thinking about things. And it took me till I got older, because basically, actually, I had real good men in my family. And I'm gonna tell you, like Harold Washington, Al Johnson. My grandfather was my dad. He passed away early in my life. If he'd been around, I'd be even better. And he taught me a lot about patience. But I was always around like Jesse Jackson Jr. So my grandfather was. We were the first black family to own Party Cab Company, a cab company which developed all others. And that was stolen from my great-grandmother. You can look that up. It was Jitney. And it was 63rd. It was located on 63rd, right off somewhere down past Stony Island, somewhere down that way. So he was an engineer for WJPC, WVON, and Operation Breadbasket. So I would go with him on Sundays.
I haven't heard that name in a long time.
Oh,
Operation Breadbasket.
Yes. So I would go with him on Sundays, and I'd be down with Tom Joyner, just started in Sherry. And I'd be sleep on the sofa, and they all just loved me because I was the little baby, with him. My grandfather was my everything. I always looked up to men because I had him. He saved me with that much to know that it takes a man to, to give me comfort, right? Not all men, but those that I love, that are my family. So I would leave there. And Al Johnson was Reverend Johnson. They would come on Sundays, and when he leave, we go to Operation Breadbasket on King Drive. And funny, because my father didn't live too far from there, wouldn't come see me, but we be running around. Jesse Jackson Jr. I remember his dad say, "Stop them from running around in the middle of a situation." But so I would always have that, and then that's how I met Al Johnson, and of course he was a Mason, Prince Hall there. So I met a lot of those big guys as well. So I always looked to that type of intelligent men that were moving things, Not all, but a lot. So those things helped me develop patience, being around them, especially in my masonry. It did help me develop better as being patient, because I wasn't as patient as as I thought I was. But when you learn to have to wait for something, then you start learning to be patient. You're either going to take it or you're not going to receive it, and you'll get it if you work for it, right? If you work for something, you don't get it right away.
Now, you mentioned you endeavored in a lot of things.
Yeah.
You shared a story with me about the losses of businesses or bad investments.
Oh.
I think one was what, 50,000 with Cat Williams?
51.
51?
51,000, yes.
How did you even get in the field, and how did he even come up in the loss of the money?
So I was doing in Chicago, people know, I was doing comedy shows in different clubs. I actually kind of one of the stars of that, my boy Marlon Mitchell, and a lot of other people were doing it at different places.
And I didn't even know some of the major celebrity comedians that you mentioned. Martin Lawrence?
No. My cousin was on Martin Lawrence, Tony Schofield.
Okay, what are some of the comedians that came out of Chicago?
D-Ray Davis, Deion Cole, Corey Holcomb.
That lady I told you I met.
Oh, you talking about Dale Givens?
Dale Givens.
And it's the other one too. I forgot. I know so many of them. It just, guys, y'all forgive me. I know y'all. Sometimes getting in my brains, but I used to have a thing on 76 in Avalon, and Corey Holcomb was the host, and we would have people come start like Muhammad, and Muhammad is one of the phenomenal comedians now. Damon Williams used to come in and do some shows for me, and Mark Simmons, who passed away, he was in Atlanta, brought him back down to Chicago for with his wife at proper burial, because he was a Chicagoan, very good host as well, funny guy. And now my buddy, we call him Knowledge, is down there doing things now. He worked with Lil Rail, which is making movies now.
Wow.
And he's going to come up here because we, for the fights we talked about.
Okay.
We're going to get into that later. But so
Okay.
Having all this business experience coming up made me want to be an entrepreneur. No matter what I did, I always wanted to own something. And I made great money. I mean, real good money. But a fool and his money soon apart, right? I didn't have the patience. I always bought what I wanted and not what I needed. And that phrase said, if I know then what I know now, I'd be a multimillionaire.
Right.
But foolish was I. And I can admit it now because I want other young men to understand I was foolish. I had pockets full of money. I probably always had $3,000 something in my pocket. And you know what the problem was? I take all these so-called friends, we go on vacations, or I'm buying, I'm always treating. And when things hit the fan,
They ain't nowhere to be found.
there was nowhere to be found. I only have 4 good friends in my family. I mean, to me, that are my brothers.
Did your grandmother ever tell you this? What my grandmother used to tell me.
My mother told me.
Everybody ain't your friend.
Oh, you can count them on your hands.
She said you count them on your hand.
Absolutely. But do we listen? Well, that's the absence of the father. My son won't have nobody around him. I can already see as a snake. Yeah. I watch everything and everybody's around my children. There's no exception. I won't ever give. You can say what you want. And you can say I'm this tight. I'm that. I'm never tight. He's my only boy. And those are my only girls.
Right.
And I'll die for them.
When you got into the entertainment field, how was you able to make the connections? Because you just mentioned some powerful names. Were these individuals that you met in through your journey in your neighborhood? You know that you guys grew up together, maybe went to school together, or how did you connect with all these different people?
Oh man, most of us we in the same South Side, Chicago, and I was doing a big party, so everybody knew me before I knew them. And then when
I heard about your parties. We won't get into those yet.
Chicago will tell you about the splash parties in Chicago. So I started knowing people way before they were celebrities, like Common. Mm-hmm. Common's like my baby brother. You know, I had dated Sister Rochelle for a quick second. We were all in Trinity Church. Okay. Dr. Reverend Jeremiah Wright was a pastor, there, and it was on Eggleston. That's on Parnell, if I'm correct. It was on Parnell now, Eggleston, where Loop Skate Rink is. But anyway, so then, and I didn't know he was gonna be a star, but at that time, it was just we would go with me and my buddy named Skeet. We would go get him and go to Falkland Grammar School where he was at. We play basketball, and we just love to go there because we can get in, right? Mm-hmm. But Rossi was just a beautiful young kid, man, and he had drive, just like what we talk about now, but he exceeded it. I remember last time I talked with him, I'm just talking about all the people that I met. That's just one. That's a big-time celebrity. When I last spoke with Stoker, he had his Mitsubishi. We was on 87th Street playing basketball. And he was just leaning back on his car. And I said, hey, man, don't forget, when you make it, I'm your bodyguard. He said, they always call him Pete Lee or Big Pete, or Big Bro. Yeah, I got you. And I haven't seen him, but I've seen where all my other friends, they grew up with him. He stays in touch. He's back in Chicago now. Well, he's no tell where he's at. But so then, everybody knew I used to have these big splash parties. So all of would come. Howard McGee from the radio station, WGCI, a lot of the comedians, Chris Zord. You know, all these guys I grew up with, but it was just drawing more people. Mm-hmm. So I decided I wanted to dabble into comedy at the clubs.
Right.
And that's when that started happening. And so we had this one opportunity, and Corey was funny. Corey a nut. I was like, Corey, let's do this, man. What we decided to do, we're going to charge $5 or $10 to get in, right?
Right.
And we get all the comics come in, because it was $50 you pay them that day. You know, everybody was just getting started.
Yeah.
And we have all the food. I always it's something that was in me that like to have camaraderie with people, not just meet you, but feed you. And it ended up working because people want to eat.
Right.
I didn't know this, right? So Corey he had Marlon Mitchell would come through, which is another great comedian. Muhammad, which is a great comedian now. D-Ray, Mark Simmons, Deion Cole, you name it, we were all doing it. Then we'll leave my joint, and then we'll go all the way down to River Oaks to go to Damon Williams' place. TNT's when he was down there. And then we'll all eat breakfast. And Jeff B. used to be doing the play. He used to be in those plays. My mom won. Because Shelly Garrett came to one of my splash parties. He brought the whole bus of his cast. Man, loving brother. I hate that he passed away. But he cared about black men entrepreneurs. He came to support and have a good time. Right. And that's when Tyler Perry was there with him, too. He was just getting into the business. Mm-hmm. So these things, I'm going way back, bro. I'm going way, way, way back. And I'm trying to come back to connect it to how it developed, man. But the entrepreneurship started then. When I realized how much money I could make, at the end of the day, I had 1,000 people coming in late at $20 a pop. I'm not talking about the tickets I sold a month before.
But you still had no financial reasoning. So a fool and his money is still soon departed.
Yeah, I had some financial reason, but I didn't have the reasoning here. I was still a boy, if you really want to know, because I never had much at one time when my grandfather passed away.
Right.
So I loved to have everything I wanted, and I wanted to prove to everybody I was better. Well, I wasn't that guy when I didn't have to do that. Because everybody around you approve of you. Ain't everybody that you need their approval.
Right, right.
And I got the approval of people that I didn't need their approval. They was worse than I thought they were, but they always showed that they were somebody. But when you got to know them, they didn't have much. So
You leave you got a big event coming up. You and your boys rent one of the biggest stadiums, and you book Cat Williams. How was that a learning lesson for you in that part of your business decision?
it was a very hard lesson. Very hard lesson. I had a couple of people invested, lost their money, lost all my money, and me and my wife put it that way. And we're getting ready to move to Indianapolis at this time. After losing 51,000, we're already planning to move. That was hard. It was a very, very, very hard situation because I was hurt. My lawyer told me, do not do this without putting the stuff in escrow. But I was chasing money. I knew when Cat come in, I was thinking, right, how many tickets?
But how was Cat at the time? Was he just fresh on the comedy scene, or he had been out for a while?
He'd been out for a while.
Okay, so he has some credibility about himself.
Yeah. He would have sold out.
Okay.
He would have sold out. The point was who I dealt with wasn't Cat Williams. It's who I dealt with.
Okay.
And you got to be careful of the snakes in the business. They're these booking agents.
Oh, okay.
That's what happened. And so we had it, and all of a sudden we couldn't get Cat, because he was going through some situations. Whatever it was, I don't know. But it just blew me away, and we only had 2 months to get ready to get somebody because I'd already paid for everything, right?
Right.
And then I had a business partner in Gator Comedy. We were Gator Comedy, my buddy Sam. He was like a brother to me. And I was showing him everything. He literally wasn't bringing people, I was. But he was learning. And to this day, man, this cat don't even talk to me. I can't make this up. Like, I still love him because my love is unconditional. No matter what you do to me, if I deem you my brother, you're going to always be that, but you're going to lose out on it because of how you stay in your way.
So a business transaction that you had no control over, I get it. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
He was a partner and an investor.
Not really much of an investor. He was just like my brother. I brought him on.
And he's still to this day, he's pissed.
He actually, when I opened Gator Comedy LLC out here, he used to come out here and enjoy it. When people start seeing you going in a different direction and you moving on, they think, well, you should have did that with me. Or what did you do? Well, how you still moving forward? See, that's what happened with me and him. But one day he just said, man, you can't use Gator Comedy no more because I'll sue you. I was like, how's that? We both made it. And I did the old man, what they call it, the old way of legally binding it, when you put everything down and then you put it in the seal off and you send it back to yourself. No, this is an old way of copyright. Not copyright, but when you are building, I can't think of it now, I'm sorry. But when you build this organization and you having people saying, hey, you never started something. No, you put both signatures on there and you have it certified. I still got it to this day. It's a lawyer told me how to do this a long time ago because I had lost so much money I couldn't even get him to do it. He said, this is all you have to do. But we were still friends.
Right.
Because he didn't have any money invested. He put $2,000 into this $51,000. I had one of my dear friends.
Maybe that's all the money he had.
But my point is, what are you mad about? Yeah. See, the lesson that I learned is lessons ain't free. I refuse to lose and lay down knowing all the money I made before that. This is the only time in life I ever lost. All my parties were successful. Everybody couldn't get in some of my parties. But I just didn't want to be a party person. I wanted to elevate into being a promoter, a real promoter. And that was doing shows. And I've done some here and really did well. And so he came, and I guess he got upset about it because I ain't coming back to Chicago right now. I'm here. I'm going back to Chicago when I get ready. But I'm not going back because God may not be sending me back for that. I'm doing something that ain't even a concert. I'm doing a whole franchise.
You walk away from that, still successful. You made it. You made it work. You dabble in the police department, or let's say law enforcement, and then you venture into something that started way back in your childhood, so to speak, popcorn. This is crazy. How did this come about? You were sitting, I already know the story. You're probably sitting there with your wife and your kids, watching your son make them touchdowns and your daughter's throwing shot puts and stuff. And your wife told you to go make some popcorn. And there was a particular flavor she wanted. And am I telling the story right? No. How did this come about?
First of all, I've been to police for years. I've been to police for a long, long time.
Okay.
I was always doing other stuff on the side. That's probably how I met a lot of people. I used to work off duty here and there and there and there.
Okay.
And I did Jam Productions. And I was a bodyguard, so I done those things. But at the amphitheater in Chicago, Bobby Brown them used to come in, Luke Skywalker, you know, the Two Live Crew. Mm-hmm. So I was always backstage and stuff like that. But another one of my dear friends I'm gonna give a shout out to is my girl Lisa Ray. I known her dad for a long time and her family, but that we all come up together at POL. So just telling my girl, hey, I miss you. I got into the popcorn business. I'm still in LL Gator Comedy LLC. It ain't gone nowhere. I'm gonna get ready to do that when I do it right.
Okay.
But right now, this is more important, right? Because it's making way more money than that would ever make. But when that goes right, it can make about the same money in 4 hours. somewhat.
It makes sense.
Somewhat. But so my buddy gave me the opportunity to come on board and work this thing like it need to be done. It's hard for him to trust people because he's had some people that actually let him down, and that's because when you deal with clowns, they ruin their own self. Just let them do what they do. They hang themselves. Mm-hmm. But when he gave me that opportunity, and what we did it for, what I should pay, I could not do it. And I know people because I'm in that field. Mm-hmm. And look how many people gravitate to the place now. Mm-hmm. And it works because now I launched a fundraising page, going after double goods. Can you imagine a black popcorn, superior, with bigger bags, lasts longer, with 500 some flavors you could choose from to do your fundraising? That's like the Girl Scout cookies. Why do they sell out? Because they're consistently good. People know what they're getting. So when the second time go around, they can't wait to get it. Mm. I got double good stuff, and this before I even opened the popcorn, I felt I was being kidnapped by my niece and nephews and everybody that had to buy this mess. And we put it on the counter and hope somebody hungry enough to eat that nasty stuff. I wouldn't eat it, so I would only buy $30 worth. What I'm seeing in mine is people buying hundreds, 50s and more. And coming, I've seen one order, somebody who's doing that campaign, same person ordered 3 times.
What's the secret?
Great quality. We can't be on this show. Well, the secret is great customer service, loving our customers, and bringing handcrafted popcorn with our own recipes on here.
How do you get 500 plus flavors naturally and healthy?
Well, once you learn it, then you know how to do it.
Okay.
Second of all, we've been doing it for a while, and my buddy LeBaron has been doing it a lot longer than me. And he's taught me well, and he's taught my family well, and now we're very good.
How does that make you feel that this, he's now your friend, good friend, that he saw enough in you to pass the secret recipe down and know that you had the ability to see the future and market it the way it needed to be marketed? And why wasn't it marketed, now that you look back, what was missing that he didn't see? Because we talked about this with future generations, and we always say this, I wish I knew now. Yeah. So what was the difference between now with the popcorn, and what's the new advancement that you bring to this?
let me say it in a way that's going to always respect my guy. First of all, I was overwhelmed that he decided to even do this with me, right? Mm-hmm. And then, number two, I'm grateful because they don't give these recipes to nobody. There's a lot of people that you got to be, we don't disclose it. We make sure with that disclosure go now, because if you do it, we shutting you down. No matter what, you can change your name, but if it's even made this same way, because nobody can do it. Mm-hmm. We know what time it is, but we don't get out there like that, right?
Right.
I think I'm very grateful that he allowed me the opportunity and brought me on board. And there's some things that, of course, business-wise, I know I do better. But flavors, he make them great. And he's a great businessman. Don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. We're just two different people. Mm-hmm. And so we don't have to be one better than the other. We just got to bring them together. So what I'm doing is perfecting this store perfectly to be an example of other stores.
Right.
What he's doing is making sure he kept all the secrets the way they need to be, locked and sealed. You can't, if you broke into my computer and looked at the stuff, it will lock you right on bat, and I'll get alert. He'll get alert, and everybody else who's involved on that board get alert, and you still can't get in. We had to be that way, right? We have to be, because Garrett's is no longer Garrett's. Put it that way. They owned by something different. This entity. So, but I think what I bring to it is the fundraising page. Fundraising page could be a multi-million-dollar business. Everybody's raising funds. And the way this actually came about is I'm a mission-minded person. I do missions. It makes me feel good. So I said I'm gregarious, put it that way. I do love people, but I'm no fool anymore. And my church, Solid Word Bible Church, we go either out the country or we're at some other area doing work, spreading the word, and being mission-minded. I'm just telling you, God has gifted me in the way I didn't see it. So I said I want to help fraternities, sororities, football teams, baseball teams, anything, dance teams, whatever. It's a non-for-profit to raise funds so they can get their educational programs across for little kids programs, whatever it may be. They can't meet these goals with these people that are overcharging with nasty popcorn.
Opens up the door.
It opens up the door. It's a $1 billion industry. And so when I done this, I'm not worried about anybody trying to do it. First, they have to pay a lot of money to get the system that I have. It's perfected. You ain't gonna make that much money without paying for it. But you can do it. But if your popcorn will match mine,
right?
Come on. And so these things are things I think I bring to the table, and the people that I know. Like in Chicago, here, people will tell you there's no state I can't go I don't know people. And that's been that way. And that was either through the Lions Club, through masonry, or playing football, playing sports. I've met people all across in different states. I'm always going to be kind to people. I always have been. And that's been reciprocated, of course, along with the mixings of the want to users. And I had to learn to weed them out.
What's your number one selling item? You got 500 plus. What's your top five? What's your top five?
And Cat Williams' voice, ooh. There's no top five. Everything in there is a top seller. I run out of everything.
Really?
I put 85 up at a time. So some people like savories, some people like sweets. Some people like the vegan food, which we have that. So if you like caramels, right? Don't come in and ask about one caramels, because I got maybe 15 of them. I got cheese-coated caramel. I got cheese and caramels and almonds, caramels and mixed nuts, caramels and cashews, caramel and Bavarian cream, and regular caramel.
Who is the taster for all these flavors?
We all got to taste. I have to feel myself a little bit. We all have to do it. And one of my newest ones that I brought you was the chocolate Oreo mint.
That even sounds good.
It's phenomenal. As soon as we made it Friday, half of what we already made was gone, and it was in 1 hour.
Really?
People taste it like, can I make it a big bag of that? Because one thing, when you come in my store, people love us because we don't treat anybody any old certain way. I had one lady come in, was very mean, and I was like, man, what can I do to make your day? I'm only selling seeds, popcorn seeds. None in here for you and me to ever go at it. Well, y'all bags too high. I said, man, I'm just going to say this once for you. It was one of our black women. And I said, ma'am, first of all, you go to the gas station next door. and you buy everything they have. And most of the stuff they have, they buy at Aldi's. And they raise the price up by $1 or $2, and you never ask them one thing. Number two, good popcorn is not cheap. A cheap popcorn, bad popcorn is cheap.
Right.
So
I don't like bad popcorn.
I don't have cheap popcorn.
Right.
I have a gourmet. This is a gourmet popcorn store, hand coated. Everybody who knows us know who we are. Even if they saying they better, that's fine. I ain't no problem with that. I would say that too. But they know who we are.
How did you make her day?
How to make my day?
No, how did you make her day? She's already griping. Did you say
she
try?
understood.
Did you try to? Did you? You should have just gave her the new caramel.
No, she understood, and I had to stand my ground sometimes and say, "Hey, listen, everybody ain't gonna agree with me, and everybody's not gonna be my customer.
Right.
But I don't have to disrespect them.
Right.
I just had to let them put some on their mind.
Right.
She actually came back and apologized a month later.
A month later.
Yep. And came and got us some popcorn.
Better late than never.
Hey, if never, it's fine because my audience is just not African Americans. My audience is everybody. Hispanics, whites, blacks. It doesn't matter to me. We're here to sell popcorn. The community, what matters to me. Community is who I see. It's a lot of white folks that come in and support me 100%, and they just as close to me as there are some black folks who come in there. The people who are close to me is the people who are really genuine. I don't look at your color. I look at you being genuine. I'll do anything for people that are going to be genuine. I don't have a problem with that. And God opened my eyes from the blindness that I had before.
Right.
Because I would always be like, if you right, you probably just, and I was wrong.
Right.
It was really the blacks that was doing me that way. You know what I'm saying? So I had to come off of that too. So I had to just say people and look at you as a person. Individuals that come in my store, that's how I look at you. And I had just as much fun as anybody that come in that store, and it's not work for me.
You're talking about opening up more popcorn worlds, and my hat's off to you for that. But in reality, that's giving even a more impact to the surrounding areas that this is going in, providing jobs,
Yes.
providing franchise opportunities, providing a sense of belonging.
That's right. That's absolutely.
For people. Why do you feel the need to do all this?
Well, remember, Scripture says a man's worse than an infidel. He doesn't leave something for his family. My purpose is my children and my wife. My purpose is my brothers and my friends. Mm-hmm. I want to be able to provide an opportunity for people to have the opportunity I never had.
Right.
And if God is using me to do this, I absolutely want to do it. My goal is to be free so I can do missions. I don't want to work. I want to do missions at work. I was in Hurricane Sandy with a group of guys from my church, and we helped this one lady. Her whole house was gone. We came in, we gutted the whole house. The next team came in and fixed it. Had no insurance. The smile that was on her face is something you can never pay for. If you need me and I'm in a position to help you, it's not that I'm doing it for you. I'm doing it because God has commanded me to be a person that he would ask me to be. A lot of people talk about it, but they don't be about it.
That was deep.
They don't. That's what I'm saying. They say they the popcorn, but they ain't popcorn world. And I tell you, because you ain't going to put in what I'm putting in. And if you do, then more power to you, because now you're going to help other people. So we're here, when I did the mission, when I did the fundraising page, it's to help communities and organizations. My boy OC from the Sigmas, that's my boy. And he wants to work with me to help his organization make some funds and do what they got to do, but he's helping me. He's not just doing it, he's doing it because that's his heart. It's hard to help another brother to come up and also help at the same time his organization, my Mason brothers from Central. I'm out of Central Lodge number 1. And my Shriner brothers, all of them, and the grandmasters, the past grandmasters, were in Kentucky, they were talking about this and other stuff. See, the thing is, people say, well, these organizations always party. Stop it. These organizations are passing, Masonry, we spent $18 million or something more on fundraisers, for communities. Mm-hmm. That money don't come out of nowhere.
It has to be generated some kind of way.
It has to be. And when I'm here, I've been given the ability to not only give them the opportunity, but to get the best popcorn in the world out. I wish people come with us, because when I go to the state fair, I'm one of the new businesses. I'm going to see who's gonna win. And you know I'm gonna pull out all the flavors. And you say some of the best. I got the butter salted caramel. I need you to come out and taste one time. I should have brought you that.
I think I'm gonna stick with the cheesecake.
Oh no, I'm gonna hit you with. I'm gonna have to hit you with the butter salted caramel, brother. I'm gonna have to hit you with it, man. I'm telling you. Yeah, man, it's just.
You know, I can see the passion in what you do, and that's rare for a man to have that kind of passion in something with all that we have gone throughout the years. And you very seldom hear individuals with a company that is designed to give so much back and ask for so little in return. My hat's off to you. What's your end game after this? What's your end game?
My end game is to be able to have this functioning in different states, providing jobs, helping organizations grow money, while I'm off in the sunset with my missions group.
Watching the popcorn do its job.
Nope, I ain't got time. I still got to do God's work. I need to be where people need me to be. And God always put me where I have to give my hats off to Curtis McManus, one of the elders, one of the deacons of the church. He is over missions. Mm-hmm. Our church cares so much about missions. We opened up a free clinic. It's been there for a few years now. People get free medical, free medicine. We working on a dentist to come, but we have a skin doctor there now. We want to see people protected. You know, Christ said this one thing, and I hope everybody resonates that's listening to this. The poor be with us always. It's not to tell you that the poor are going to be there. It's there to know that you need to help.
Right.
If you think you so much, you come from where they was at. I came from where they was at. We were one of the richest people on my block to the poorest when my grandfather died. Wow. Because nobody worked, and he owed everything, and they took everything. I lived 3 years, and I say it now. I never used to say it. I used to hold it in me. But God said, let everybody know. We lived 3 years in the coldest Chicago with no gas, no lights. I'm telling you. Didn't know where meals was coming from. We were too prideful to go to our families. We were Coleman Lanners. Yeah. I know this. That's where my passion comes from. Because when I see somebody suffering, I know personally what that suffering is. I don't want to see it because I hate suffering. I hate that whole sinful suffer. Suffer is, like Christ said, death, where's your sting? You ain't got it no more. There's no death with me. So I've lived this in street Chicago. That's why I end up almost going a different way. So sports had to be my way out. And I would go to school all the time and do good in school because I had to eat. I'm being honest.
And believe it or not, a lot of us hate to admit it, but school was really a sanctuary for families that didn't. We might have put on the face like we was in school, like we had it going on, but really those were lifesavers.
Yes, they were.
They were lifelines.
Yes, they were.
To a hot meal. They was lifeline to
shower.
They were lifelines to if there was dysfunction in the house.
Yes.
It was a moment of silence. Yeah.
You couldn't have said it no better.
Yeah. Yeah. I lived it. I know it.
No. And there's a lot of men out here that were our age that are finally coming out speaking the truth. If we had spoke our truth then, maybe we saved a lot of other people.
Yeah.
With the word.
It's never too late.
No, it's not.
It's never too late.
But for some, it might be,
Yeah.
So my end goal is make sure that me and my wife are living comfortable. I get to enjoy her the rest of my life. I'm past all of,
Tell me about your wife.
Stuff.
Tell me about your wife. You don't mention her 3 times. We ain't gave her shots out yet.
Hey, listen. My wife is a school teacher at Shortridge, and passionate about it. A loving Christian woman. Mm-hmm. She'll give her anything off her back, right? And when I mean that, it take a lot to deal with me. My wife let me win when I'm wrong. And that's love, because I should be doing that to her.
Yeah.
When you get married, you actually get married to lose. It means you give in when even it's not for you to give in, because your love conquers all. So when somebody wrong, you don't have to actually pounce on them to let them know they're wrong. Just let them give them enough time to understand they're wrong, because then they won't repeat it. Once people understand what they done, they won't repeat it. But if they never understand it, you don't give them a chance to, they're going to do it again.
Yeah.
because they too arrogant at the point to even try to listen to you. But my wife is a beautiful lady. She's a school teacher. She also helps at the business. And she's very passionate about Christ. But she's most people that know her know she's a great friend, a sister, you know what I'm saying, and a mother, you know. So I think I've had a champion by my side. And I'm going to tell you why I tell you this, because all the women I've had, and I mean, I was a player. Don't mean I slept with all of them, but I had them.
Right.
And I couldn't trust none of them as far as I could throw them, because I was too bent on never being right with God. See, our sinful ways don't allow us to see past our own faults. So when we talking to this one, talking to that one, it's really us seeing them doing the same thing we doing to them. Mm-hmm. So I could never trust anybody. And so when I met her, it was a calmness she brought on me. There was a calmness that she brought to me, and it has never went away.
Wow.
And I can trust her. Like, if you come through the crib, or anybody come to you, be good looking all you want. I ain't worried. But it be my other girls, I'll be like, hey, listen, so you know how guys out. hey, you sit over there, and you sit over there, don't come when the fellas come. And no, man, not this one. She get along right with you. We play cards, you gonna get that mess too. Really? You gonna talk that mess too. Yeah, so God has blessed me. And I feel grateful in this business and everywhere I'm going, and I hope that I will bless everybody else that comes, in contact with me.
You got to give shouts out to our mutual friend that bought this together.
Man, listen here, Steve,
our brother from another.
Steve Jefferson is my brother. Steve tell you, I send him popcorn all the time. I got to send him some more now. He go crazy. He got to tell you about the airport incident. So with the popcorn,
I'm gonna tell him.
now TSA come to me because they know who we are. They love it. But Steve has been an apple sent to me that God put before me, saying, "Hey, I'm gonna bring some brothers in your life. Like, I'm meeting you. It's so genuine. It's gonna be some good things we're gonna be doing, not for us, but for people."
That's what it's about. And I even tell Steve that I'm like, I had a brother, a young brother was on the show, and he shared his story. Father was incarcerated, and he's in Texas, didn't know nobody. I said, look, I got the perfect role model called Steve. And Steve said he reached out to him, and I get emotional because we need that, and those were things that was missing. Yeah. Well, I won't say it was really missing in my life. I think when you go to school, let's go back to school again. Yeah. That was a safe haven. So the coaches was my role models.
Yes, that's right.
But I had to do good in the sports. Yes. I had to do good academically to please them. But those were the father figures when there wasn't a father.
And you absolutely did tip on that when you was asking about men in my life. My coaches were my guys. Yeah. And two of my coaches were white coaches who I love dearly. Yeah. They literally brought the beast out of me. Yeah. And then my coach Cox was my last coach. He's a black coach. He lives in Arizona now. Man, I love him like my dad, but me and his son grew up together, so know. But he was like another good coach, and he didn't sugarcoat anything. Right. And like, you gotta get your education, gotta do this. That's all it's about. Hit Kappa too. I don't know all these Kappas. I don't know. Yeah. I know a lot of Qs and Sigmas, but for some reason, my lodge full of Kappas. Give a shout out to them. But the Alphas too. So I had to go. And the Q's and Sigmas, I can't leave them out. You gotta give them all. You give one, you gotta give them all. I can't leave them out because I know them all, and especially being a Mason. Yeah. When they get through playing, they want to be, become a Mason. We all know that. Say the truth. But anyway, and Masonry has really brought me great joy with good brothers, loving brothers, and guys have been there for me. Fortunately, I've been in a position where I'm always there for somebody else. Yeah. I didn't need much from other people other than, just true friend companionship, and that's about it. Just being true. And so God did the rest. So this is what I kind of learned through all my life for right now is that God has been orchestrating everything that's been happening to me. He's been moving me in the direction he needs me to be, even if it's not comfortable. Right. You can't figure you doing something and ask God to bless you when God say, I got you going this way. Right. But you want to choose, so I give you choose. I give you choice. But in your sin, you still gonna have to deal with it. Yeah. And then I'm loving you so much, I'll probably bring you out of it. just like Hagar. Hagar was the servant of Sarai. And God told Sarah that you would be the mother of the promised child, Isaac. But she didn't believe that was going to happen because she was so old in age. So she told Moses, Abraham, to go and sleep with Hagar. That's not what God said.
She was almost like a maid or
she was
nanny.
the maid. She was the maid.
Okay.
The servant at that time. It could say slaves, but that's not what slavery was.
Right.
It just meant that you owed a debt, and that's what you did, or you were in war, and that's what you did, but you get treated like that. And so instead of being patient, her impatience made the sin happen. And Abraham sinned, just like in Adam and Eve. You don't do that. But you already told what was going to happen. But God so mercifully allows your mistake not to be your final call, because God going to do what he want to do anyway. So by bringing men into my life, he's already brought me up with what a good brother looks like versus a bad brother. But then he also taught me that don't treat the bad brother like he garbage, because that ain't my role. My role is to either I can do better for you, help you, or leave you right where you at. Jesus said, go spread my word. If they don't accept it, dust your feet and keep moving. That's what he means by this. Like, we get together, we do some amazing things for the people.
Yeah.
Because of your platform, my platform, we're not there to make us. I don't need to walk across the stage anymore. I don't have the desire to look at me.
My knees won't make it across the stage.
If it do, I don't have the desire to look at me. I'm gonna pull some people with me.
Right.
Look at us. And when they see us, they gotta see what us have done.
Right.
Not what us are doing, because then it's all about us. So these things have made me a better businessman. They have led me from my past to my future. And I'm still going in the direction, and I want to leave a legacy of people knowing me for being a loving guy and a God-fearing man. If anything, I don't need phoniness at my funeral, because I don't need to be sad, because I'm going to be with the Lord. Second of all, I don't need people coming to, these phony funerals, guy that shot up 25 people, killed 10, and they're like, the present with the body is in present with the Lord. No, that is a lie, Moni. If I ever heard one, he in hell, ain't nothing else coming back. Ain't no coming back. So, that's why I'm saying I want to leave that legacy of when you get to, hopefully we on this earth longer. I pray for mercy for us.
Thank you.
That we really get to do some things. Man, I know when I talk to certain brothers, I get excited because I know exactly who you are.
Really?
Look, you're not a phony brother. You're a real brother. I ain't talking about all this. I'm talking about just the way we talked.
Yeah. I mean, it's like we hit it off right off the bat.
We don't have to go through, oh no, bro, I interview it.
I'm a firm believer. I tell people, my guy, and it's funny because when you talk to women, they look at guys like we hang in packs like dogs, and I tell them I got 4 guy friends. I can depend on. My first guy friend passed away, and it literally tore me up, because this was a guy that on his birthday sat in the courtroom with me as I was getting custody for my daughter. When you go to custody, you're in there all day.
I know.
That was his birthday. I had no idea it was his birthday.
I know what that's like.
But he was there all day, and when it was all said and done, when I needed something, he was there. And to be by his bedside when he passed away, I remember the lady goes, he can hear you. But it was only 3 of us in there. It was his brother, who I knew but I didn't know, and it was another one of his friends, Jeff, and another guy. We was the 4 guys that was in there, and still today I can't get over that, because as men it's hard for us to be emotional with each other, but he didn't have to be emotional. It was his actions of being there when nobody else was there. Yeah, and it resonated with me, and I feel the same way about Brother Steve. Now that I met you, I got another buddy, Scott, and my buddy Edward. Those are, and my buddy Tommy. Tommy is a different type of dude, man. We met during bodybuilding, and my buddy Dre. But Tommy's like really different. I mean, as an athlete, we don't, especially in bodybuilding, it's basically individual.
Yeah, yeah.
I ain't trying to be your friend.
Right. We won't work each other out. We dog one another.
Yeah. But when we on stage, it's business. You know what I mean?
That's right.
And after my career was over, we became really, really good friends. Oh, my other buddy Lachey. I can't forget my mother Lachey. But the thing about each one of those guys, they all bring something different to my life. You know what I mean? Like Scott, he does my clothing line. I don't have to micromanage Scott. Scott brings, he knows me, he knows what I want. He handles his business. Edward is more like, he tries to act like he's my big brother at times. You know what I mean? I'm like, dude, I'm older than you. But I listen to him. He's funny in his own unique way, but I see that he's strictly business. He's family oriented, and he only wants to see you succeed, and don't hit pitfalls. Lachey is a little bit different. He's one of my boys that, I love his music. I love his family values, and it's funny because everybody that's in that little circle is still about family. And Dre, he reminds me of me. He's in the law enforcement. And my other buddy Rashi, I call him my brother because they both in the law enforcement. I see what they go through, so now I get a bird's eye view of how to protect myself when it comes to the legal aspect. You know what I mean? Right. And then my buddy Tommy is just a guy that, through all of my injuries, that dude reaches out to me. I mean, he don't ask for nothing in return. He just reaches out. Dre, how you doing? Yeah. I can be, and it's like he knows when I come out of surgery. How you doing? Yes. Just out of nowhere.
That's all it take.
Give me my flowers now.
That's all it takes.
Yeah, not when I'm dead.
That's all it takes. I have my closest brothers like Ivan Ellis, Ricky Johnson. I actually got a lot of close brothers, but these guys have been knowing me since 6th grade. Ricky Johnson, Ivan Ellis, Sada Baha, and my boy Vincent Cabot, right? Mm-hmm. And I didn't experience them losing them yet, and I pray for them every day. I ask for mercy. Mm-hmm. This guy's mercy on your life. So when his mercy runs out, it's over. But that doesn't mean it's over. Right. But these guys all have different aspects and different traits. But the thing is, the one thing in common, as you spoke of, is trust. Right. Care. Right. Empathy. Right. My boys, if I ain't talked to them in a year, something happened to me, they there. I can wake up not wanting somebody there. But God has allowed me to know one thing. He's a jealous God, right? They all let me down once in life before. Yeah. But my love had to show out. That I didn't hold it against them. Right. And I probably let them down a couple times. Right. But we care for one another, and we there. So when the Bears game come up, just letting you know now, you're going to have to come on over to the house and we cooking. So the Bears in Chicago, it's going to be my people from Indy and my people from Chicago come to my crib. Let me shut up because I want everybody to know.
Now, I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan, so
you going to come and have a ball, though.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for y'all in advance, though.
Oh, don't even go there, man. You don't know how bad I want to reach out to the owner and say, hey, can you put me on your payroll and get the right people up in here, man? I'm hoping this is our year. We got Zeke back. We gave him that 1-year deal. I realized, he came back for a 1-year deal. He said, according to the press, which I can't believe everything media says, it was unfinished business. And from a standpoint, I feel like they never should have let him go to begin with.
They shouldn't have.
You bring in complementary players to complement the team, and when you let him go, you really let go a big piece of. And he was actually productive. Why that season that they didn't make it? So I was like, okay, what's going on here? But I don't run the team. Yeah. So and I'm pretty sure that the owners don't give a care what people think. And I think if I'm a business owner, it goes back to what you said. Pay attention to customer service. We buy the tickets. We the fans.
That's it.
Listen, because we may have something that you might want to consider.
Yeah, well, you should. Because, owners can adjust who they are, but they think they're bigger than life, so that's why they make a lot of mistakes. But then there's some people that do listen to fans. I mean, like Chicago Bears. They finally listened to us.
And got rid of Justin.
No, that was a bad one, though. That was a bad one. I mean, the kid we got is phenomenal. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I
Caleb Williams.
Caleb Williams. I would have kept Justin just so I could trade him later.
Yeah.
If he wouldn't have proved what he gonna prove, but between them two, you ain't gonna beat the Bears because you bring that type of. Justin never had the right situation.
Didn't have the right situation.
They
No
were
other
wrong
supporting
from the
cast.
start. They were wrong from the start, and so I really wish the best for Justin Fields. I wish he would just don't beat the Bears, but beat everybody else because he gonna do it. And I thought that Dallas had any sense, they would have gotten the boy can throw accurate as he need to be. But his processing was a little slow. But what would you expect if he going through 3 different coordinators?
Yeah.
And then you don't have great.
He wasn't set up for success in Chicago. That was the bottom line.
No, but I wanted to get him some popcorn though. So, y'all sorry, the Apple Watch always listening to y'all. See, just let y'all know, cut all your apples off because they listening to everything comes and they're going to have the Beast on their show.
Before we wrap up, let's do it like this. And thank you so much for taking time out. And the good part I learned about this, not only the things that you're doing with the popcorn, but 2 men can sit here and be emotional and be open and share the importance of male bonding and something that you don't see today. How can the viewers get in touch with you to get this popcorn and talk about fundraising events and charity things and stuff that you're doing?
Absolutely. So we're located at 3755 East Raymond Street, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46203. You can always locate us on all social platforms, and it's always INDY popcornworld.com or at gmail.com, on Instagram, IND Popcorn World. So I made it very simple, so I won't forget it, but everybody else won't be able to forget it. But we're open Tuesday through Saturdays from 12 to 7. I'm considering doing summer hours to 8 and opening Mondays, but I always gave myself a promise. Sunday is always God's day with me. Right. And then Monday is my day to really not rest, but I'm getting materials and stuff that I need to do and make sure my business outside of Popcorn World is doing this thing because the Gator Comedy will be back.
Okay. And
I do have a 501c that I was going to talk to you about called The Boys to Fathers, and we talk about young men learning what it is to be a man, and men who think their fathers can always learn what they can improve on what they are, and those who thinking about being a father can have an idea of what they expect it to do.
That's a much needed topic, and we're definitely going to have you back and talk about that.
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, go get your popcorn at Popcorn World. This has been another exciting episode of the Andre the Beast Crayton Show.